Good evening. Today is Thursday, February 5th, 2026. I'd like to call this meeting of the Auburn City Council to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Diego.
Here.
Councilor Overstreet Wilson.
Here.
Councilor Cuddy.
Here.
Councilor Calarco.
Here.
Mayor Genatino.
Here, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Clerk, public announcements? All right, very good. We do have a proclamation this evening for Black History Month.
Proclamation from the office of Mayor Genatino. Whereas the Black experience throughout history is an enduring foundation upon which the Black community is built and stands, and the struggle and challenges overcome by African Americans throughout the centuries are inspiring to all Americans and reminders of the principles we share as a society. And whereas Black History Week was initiated in February 1926, and for many years the second week of February, chosen so as to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, was celebrated by African Americans in the United States. And whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and become established as Black History Month, and is now celebrated all over North America. And whereas the theme for 2026, A Century of Black History Commemorations, marks 100 years of national observances dedicated to honoring the lives, struggles, and achievements of African Americans. This milestone invites us to reflect on the origins and enduring significance of these commemorations, which began with Dr. Carter G. Woodson and his colleagues founding the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in 1915. Their vision institutionalized the study and celebration of Black history, laying the foundation for what would become Negro History Week in 1926 and eventually Black History Month. And whereas this year's theme encourages us to explore the profound impact of these commemorations on shaping identity, fostering pride, and advancing equality, from early celebrations of emancipation and the Haitian Revolution to modern observances like Juneteenth, Black history has served as a beacon of resilience and hope. As Arthur Schomburg declared, the American Negro must remake his past in order to make his future. That call remains urgent today as forces seek to erase or diminish Black history through censorship and exclusion. And now, therefore, James Genatino, Mayor of the City of Auburn, hereby proclaims February 2026 as Black History Month here in the City of Auburn.
Very good. Thank you. This evening, I would like to present this proclamation on behalf of Council to Councilor Overstreet Wilson.
Black history is American history. It will not be forgotten nor minimized. History is meant to be taught and learned from even those parts that are uncomfortable. The lived experiences that Black Americans have dealt with, the contributions that Black Americans are proud of, will not be erased. They are woven into the fabric of what makes America, America. I want to thank the community members and agencies that have acknowledged that Black history is American history. I also want to thank the Mayor and City Council for choosing me to receive the proclamation. I do so in honor of all those who have come before me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. Move on to the public to be heard. This evening we do have a public hearing for the 2026-2027 CDBG Annual Action Plan. But I would like to start with our regular public to be heard first. Clerk, could you go over the rules for public to be heard, please?
At this point in time, we'll open the public to be heard portion of the council meeting. Residents are asked to state their name and address for the record. Please keep remarks to 3 minutes or less, and please observe commonly accepted rules of courtesy and decorum.
Thank you. Mr. Rudolph.
My name is James Udall. I live at 106 Osborne Street. I came here tonight to again advocate for the updating to the income limits for the senior and disabled homeowner tax assessment discount. I had some facts and figures to share with you tonight, but when I read in the paper about the Walmart tax assessment discount that's being voted on tonight, I had to change my topic. I cannot believe that the seniors and the disabled homeowners have not so far gotten even a bump to their qualifying income, but a $1 trillion market capitalized company like Walmart is going to get $5,000 a year over 4 years, $20,000 in tax assessment and tax break from this city. The Walmart doesn't need it. If you close your eyes and count to one, that 1 second, the Walmart Corporation just made $21,355. That's what they make every second of every hour of every day. And it's meaningless to them. And yet, this company wants to strong arm you guys. I understand you guys are being strong armed, threatened with legal action, and you're going to give them the money. Okay, give them the money. But don't be surprised when they come the next tax assessment season, they come back and do the same thing. Or Nucor tries this, or another big taxpayer in the city tries to do this. I learned very early on in elementary school, being the smallest kid at the school, that if the bully comes for your lunch money on Monday and you don't fight, he's going to come for it on Tuesday. So this is just bad precedent. It's bad policy. You guys are setting a precedent that all somebody has to do is file a lawsuit and the city will turn tail and give them what they want, or give them something of what they want. In the meantime, the seniors and the disabled homeowners haven't even gotten, anything. Just polite commentary from Councilman Cuddy, polite commentary from the mayor, but nothing. The only person who seems on this council that's even interested in doing something is Councilman Diego. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand. These people have lived here probably for 25, 30 years in their home, and they cannot afford to pay the tax. And your income levels are too low, way, way too low, given how it is to live in this economy right now. But Walmart's getting the tax assessment discount. I just find that it's outrageous, it's not fair, and it's bad policy. All of you here are on your seats by the
Mr. Udall, your time's up.
200 votes
Your time's
separate
up,
you
sir.
all, and these people will
Your
vote.
time is up.
I heard you.
Then sit
If you want
down.
to do the 3 minutes, get a red, green, and yellow light. Green light, talk. Yellow light, 30 seconds. Red light, stop.
Are you done?
No.
Sit down. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard this evening? Ms. Okazik.
My name's Pam Okosik. I live at 120 Chapman Avenue, and I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. I watched the meeting last week online because I wasn't able to be here. And you guys talked about the budget updates. And as far as the taxes, I think the one person said it best when she asked you, Mr. Mayor, or Mr. Mayor, you asked her, you said, what revenues can we look forward to getting back the most money out of? And she said to you, and I think it's really sad that you guys are looking at getting the most revenues back on taxes that are owed, on people who are getting ready to lose their houses, on back taxes that are owed, on foreclosures that are getting ready to happen in this city. And that's the biggest revenues you guys are looking at making money on houses that you're getting ready to foreclose on, back taxes that are owed. And that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard this evening? All right, we'll close the public to be heard. We'll open the public hearing for the 2026-2027 CDBG Annual Action Plan. Is there anybody wishing to be heard on that topic this evening? Okay, we'll keep that open throughout the meeting. Move on to the approval of the meeting minutes from January 22nd, 2026. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Clarko, seconded by Councilor Overstreet Wilson. Any questions, discussion, or changes? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilor Diego?
Yes.
Councilor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Councilor Cuddy?
Yes.
Councilor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye.
Carried.
The January 29th meeting minutes will be forthcoming next week. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a couple open bid opportunities on the city's website. Lake Ave Bridge rehabilitation remains open until February 10th. And we have real estate marketing and brokerage services for city-owned properties, which is open until February 20th. Also wanted to mention that the planning office is continuing its quest for different sources of funding and applying to New York State Municipal Parks and Recreation Round 2 for the city to do a total reconstruction and replacement of Casey Park tennis and pickleball courts with additional drainage to provide a place for secure, accessible, and inclusive court activities for participants of all ages and levels. The grant funds up to 90% of project costs with a 10% match required. The total requested is just over $572,000. The match is in kind with our DPW doing the court demolition and staff doing environmental review documents. Grant is due February 9th, and announcements are likely to take place in May 2026. And if successful, staff will be back in front of council for acceptance of the grant funds. We have planning staff here to do the CDBG presentation, and they'd be happy to answer any questions on this funding source as well.
Any questions for Ms. Haynes? Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Reports from members of council. Anybody? Myself and Councilor Diego attended the annual New York Conference of Mayors in Albany, Sunday through Tuesday. We received updates on the proposed executive budget, had an opportunity to hear from some members of the Assembly and Senate on what we hope will be some amendments to that budget through the one house budgets, hopefully specifically with AIM funding. We did hear both from members of the Senate and the Assembly recognizing the need to increase AIM funding. The New York State Comptroller was there once again. He takes no positions when it comes to the finances of the state except for AIM funding. That's how strongly he believes that it needs to be increased. Had an opportunity to attend a press conference at the Capitol, encouraging the governor and the legislative branch to increase AIM funding. The good news is road money is being proposed where it was last year, so there's no changes there. Obviously, we'd always take an increase in that, but at least there's been no cuts to it. Also had a productive meeting with Senator May after that press conference and shared our concerns specifically surrounding AIM funding. All right, we'll move on to the first resolution of this evening, land sale resolution number 14 of 2026, authorizing the sale of a paper street for the purposes of development. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Clarko, second by Councilor Cuddy.
Land sale resolution 14 of 2026, whereas the city of Auburn, pursuant to the powers vested in its charter, has laid out a grid of streets throughout the city, and whereas there exist instances where certain streets have been plotted but in no way improved, which are commonly known as paper streets, and whereas the city preserves a right-of-way on these paper streets, which, absent further legal action, prohibits the development of the paper street, and whereas a paper street exists between two parcels, tax map number 1155011 and 11542-343, the dimensions of which are approximately 95 feet by 40 feet, making it undevelopable per the city's zoning ordinance. And whereas the owner of the two parcels listed as tax maps number 115-5011 and 115-42-343, desires to develop these parcels but cannot with the existence of the paper street. And whereas a purchase offer and sale contract has been proposed by Pearl River 23 LLC for the purchase of the paper street at a price of $100. And whereas the buyers intend to merge the paper street with the aforementioned parcels for a shovel-ready project, and whereas the property is a surplus property no longer needed for city purpose. Now therefore be it resolved that the city does hereby approve the purchase offer and sale contract from Pearl River 23 LLC for the sale of paper street for the sum of $100, subject to the terms and conditions set forth therein, and also subject to the following: that the city provide only a quit claim deed to the buyer at closing, that the buyers be responsible for payment of all title and closing costs, and no work shall commence without a permit if required, and the permit must be obtained within 30 days after the closing. Be it further resolved, the mayor is authorized to sign the purchase offer and sale contract together with any and all documents in order to finalize the closing of the sale, and direct staff to record the sale proceeds into the revenue account A992660, named sale of real property.
Good. Ms. Haynes or Mr. Garland, do you have anything to add?
Mayor, just our typical process, we receive inquiries about paper streets from time to time. Our typical process is that we first want to determine whether or not there are any utilities that run the paper street. Sometimes there are. So we check with engineering. Engineering department determined there were no utilities on the street. The street is, if it were a lot, would be undevelopable, as the resolution said, per the city's zoning ordinance. And it is a fully wooded slice of land that is prohibiting land development in a part of the city that is economically struggling. So with this, if the council votes to allow this land sale, we anticipate jobs and sales tax revenue coming from the city divesting itself of a small piece of property, which only squirrels have used for the last 250 years.
Very good. Any questions from the council? Please call the roll.
Councilor Diego?
Yes.
Councilor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Councilor Cuddy?
Yes.
Councilor Calarco?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye.
Carried.
Council Resolution Number 15 of 2026, authorizing settlement of the real property tax assessment proceedings with Walmart, Inc. versus Board of Assessment Review of the City of Auburn et al. Concerning real property located at 297 Grant Ave. Do we have a sponsor? Councilor Cuddy, seconded by Councilor Overstreet Wilson.
Council Resolution 15, whereas for the tax year of 2025, the petitioner Walmart Incorporated commenced proceedings challenging the property tax assessment of parcels of real estate located at 297 Grand Avenue in the city of Auburn, Auburn City School District, and Cayuga County, designated as the properties. And whereas Corporation Counsel Nathan J. Garland appeared in the foregoing proceedings on behalf of the city of Auburn, Kevin McLeod appeared and intervened in the proceedings on behalf of Cayuga County, and Darren Ivasuk appeared and intervened in these proceedings on behalf of the Auburn Enlarged City School District. And whereas after extensive settlement negotiations, the parties and their attorneys have agreed that a settlement as outlined in the attached proposed stipulations of settlement and judicial orders would be in the best interest of all parties and would avoid further litigation expense. And whereas the Auburn School District Board of Education and the Cayuga County Legislature have already approved or will soon approve the proposed settlement as outlined in the attached. Now therefore be it resolved, the Auburn City Council does hereby authorize Corporation Counsel Garland to execute the attached stipulation of settlement and judicial order wherein the tax assessment of the property owned by the petitioner shall be adjusted as set forth therein, and no refund shall issue.
Mr. Garland, Can you provide some background on this, please? And if you don't mind, can you pull that mic towards you?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I would hazard a guess that police officers don't watch police procedurals and that firemen don't watch TV shows about the fire service. I can confirm for you that there are very few lawyers that watch legal dramas on TV, because legal dramas deal with unrealistic propositions where one attorney rides in on a white horse and saves the day. That is not the practice of law. If the practice of law could be reduced to one concise sentence, it would be protecting against risk. And as the Corporation Counsel for the City of Auburn, my one client, I have a boss seated to my right, but my one client is the municipal corporation that is the city. So the protection of that municipal corporation is my first and foremost goal. And in any such litigation, that's the first thing you look at. What is the potential risk for the city of Auburn? So we're starting from a proposition where Walmart, as has been noted earlier this evening, the largest employer in the United States of America and one of the largest companies in the world, sought to reduce their assessment by approximately 45%. Getting back to the legal drama, legal procedure, we can't ignore, we can't write out, we can't edit that fact. That is something that Walmart through its attorneys would seek to prove as the proper valuation for that real property on Granite, no matter how much we would like to do so. I certainly trust our assessors' ability to value our real property throughout the city. So the first thing I do generally on a tax settlement issue is run that by the assessor and see where her head is at. We were able to negotiate through Walmart's attorney a settlement that, rather than a 45% reduction in the assessed value, lands at about 4%. As was noted earlier, it's about $5,000 in tax revenue a year through the tax year of 2029. So, as my first priority is protecting the city of Auburn against risk, in my opinion, that's a fairly good job of protecting against risk. Rather than being on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars, the city of Auburn is receiving $5,000 in tax revenue less each year. What does that $5,000 mean in terms of what we would have, what it would have cost to take this to trial? Again, getting back to legal procedurals on TV, there's always an exciting trial at the end. Well, those are not free, and especially in tax certiorari litigation, you require expert witnesses, reports in the form of appraisals, which are done by professional licensed people. Those appraisals, a preliminary appraisal typically costs between $5,000 and $10,000. And a trial-ready appraisal is significantly more extensive and thus costs significantly more. So, we were able to settle this matter, again, with the largest employer in the United States of America that happens to be one of the largest corporations in the world, without expending any of those sorts of expenses. And ultimately, you know, it is it's a acknowledgement of the real world and how law is practiced in this area of law and tax certiorari law, that every owner of real property in the state of New York is entitled to challenge their assessment in court pursuant to the real property tax law. That's what we have here. This is a typical course of a lawsuit in many respects, but it's atypical in that it's settled without any refunds and with only a very small, relatively small reduction in assessed value that our assessor's office stands behind and believes is a fair settlement. So So I would, I haven't taken any questions from council, but those are my thoughts on this matter. It is a settlement that will be in place until 2029, so we don't have to worry about Walmart challenging its assessment until then.
Very good. Do you have anything that you want to add, Ms. Haynes?
No, thank you.
Questions from Councilor Sheree Wilson?
In our background memo, it said this started in 2005. How long have the negotiations?
That must have been a typo.
Okay.
It's 2025.
2025. Okay, so the negotiations have been going on between us and Walmart's lawyers for how long?
Well, Counselor, I think you might be implicitly identifying some of these tax settlements that come in front of you are years and years and years, right? We did a Walgreens one a couple of years ago that was extremely messy, and then it went back 5 or 6 tax years, right? This is just challenging the 2025 assessment and contemplating 2026 going forward to 2029. So it's a relatively quick settlement of a tax assury matter.
Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't sure if it was, according to this, had it been going on longer than just the assessed 2025.
Sure. They, as is the case with many of our litigants in this matter, I believe that there's someone at corporate headquarters that gets a tickler every couple of years that this store we need to challenge the assessment on this store. So there's AutoZone, Walgreens, there's just certain national chains where almost as a matter of course for their business, they challenge their assessment. Last time that Walmart challenged their assessment, I think was 2020 maybe, and that matter settled after 1 day in court at significant expense to the city of Auburn, because we had to hire an appraiser to do a preliminary appraisal and then a trial ready appraisal as well. So this settlement not only is only dealing with 1 tax year, there's no refunds, and we were able to get out of the matter without expending those sorts of funds.
All set, Counselor? All set, Counselor?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anyone else? Counselor Diego?
Yes. I just want a quick note on that. I think part of the problem is, and maybe it's just me, when we talk about like these assessments, and obviously, like you said, Mr. Garland, you said that we got full confidence in the assessor's office. I'm assuming you had spoke up last time about it, Mayor, also when I spoke a few weeks ago about this, about a different assessment that had been dropped, and I just want to make sure that we don't have the same issue over and over, and you would clarify for me something who was doing one of the other assessments that cost the city an extreme amount of money after the fact when the assessment was lowered. That's more my concern. I'm not against the one with Walmart. I'm not happy that $1 trillion market cap company is getting a discount, but walking away for $5,000, considering it could have been 10 times that a year, I think we made out all right. I think it's just something we should maybe look at as far as making sure that we're on par with where these assessments need to be, because it's something that just can't happen over and over again. That's just my thought on it. I don't want to have to continue to go back, and it's obviously Mr. Garland's doing the brunt of the work for it, but if some of these assessments are off by as much as they are or what we're lowering them, then maybe we assessed them too high in the first place. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Only, I guess it's kind of tangentially related to what Councilor Diego brought up, is that in the course of the negotiation for this particular matter, we were provided with a preliminary appraisal by Walmart on a tax case that they had going in Hamburg. And the valuation of our assessor's office pretty much lined up with what Walmart thought the value should be for their store in Hamburg, which was essentially the same store. So on this particular one, I think, I certainly take your point, Counselor, but I think that our assessor's office landed pretty much spot on.
Mr. Garland, if in these cases we don't come to an agreement, and clearly the other two taxing entities in this case agreed with the decision because they've already voted on it, but say we don't come to an agreement and we go to court, what is the risk of that? I guess for the public's knowledge, who makes the decision then of what the assessment is going to be?
The judge ultimately would decide between the figure that the value at which the property is currently assessed and the value proposed by the plaintiff. And it is a zero-sum game, as most litigation is.
Right. And in litigation, and I know every case is different, but is it safe to say that if they were pursuing a 45% decrease and our attorneys were proposing a 5% decrease and we couldn't come to agreement on there, that the judge may wind up somewhere in the middle?
Typically, the judge would choose one of those numbers.
Okay, so you have 50-50.
And we were playing defense against the 45% reduction, not some halfway reduction.
Very good. Any additional questions? Please call the roll.
Counselor Diego?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Cuddy?
Yes.
Counselor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye.
Carried.
Appointment resolution number 16 of 2026, appointing members to Auburn Industrial Development Authority, otherwise known as ADA. Do we have a sponsor? Counselor Cuddy, seconded by Counselor Clarko.
Appointment Resolution 16, whereas in accordance with Title 15, Section 2304 of the New York State Public Authorities Law, the mayor hereby recommends confirmation of a chairperson and 8 members to be appointed to the Auburn Industrial Development Authority. And whereas in accordance with said public authorities law, board membership must include specific fields representing labor, business, and industry and education, and 2 of the 8 members shall be members of the City Council of the city. Now therefore be it resolved, the Auburn City Council confirms the appointment of the following persons to the Auburn Industrial Development Authority Board for a term of 3 years, which term is set to expire January 31st, 2029. Member of City Council, Mayor Genatino and Councilor Cuddy. At-large member Courtney Hedigan. At-large member Tessa Crawford. At-large member Karen Walter. Member of Labor William Andre. Member of Business Gwen Weber McLeod. Member of Industry Matthew Del Favaro. And School Board member Dan Lovell. Be it further resolved that Gwen Weber McLeod is to be appointed to serve as the chairwoman of the Auburn Industrial Development Authority Board for a term effective immediately and lasting through January 31st, 2029. Be it further resolved, the resolution shall take effect immediately.
Very good. Any questions or discussion from the council?
Hi.
Yes.
I see the school board member is Dan Lovell, and I know he'll be up for re-election this year. If he does not win, is there a process to put somebody else on the school board?
Yeah, so we would ask the school board as a whole to recommend a member of that board, and then we would bring it back here for a vote.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yes, I just wanted to touch back on this. It's kind of the same thing that came up a few weeks ago again, but that was a paid position at the time. Just a suggestion on my own. I don't know if anybody agrees with it or not. You remember you spoke saying that people email you and the likes to be placed on these boards. I'm still in favor of this going out to being posted, even if we posted it online for 60 days before it was available, 30 days out. We can look at who, I understand, I went back through some of the meeting minutes, and I know it's hard for you to fill some of these spots. You got to have certain criteria, this and that, but I think we can get a bigger pool of people if we offer it to more people and at least make a public notice that this job is available, this board is available, volunteer or, paid for that matter. Just my thought on it, something I'd like to see happen, so that it's, for me, it's a little more transparency, just for the public in general, instead of, people emailing and being placed in positions. And I know you got a small amount of people to pick through, but maybe we can bring in some more people that may be qualified for the position.
Sure, point taken. In case of ADA, I recommend the members, so it's up to me to recommend them, and it's up to council to vote on it. In this case, it's a reappointment of every member. They asked to stay on the board. The last one, which is the first time appointment, is a member of industry, which we've had difficulty finding somebody because they don't technically have to live in the city of Auburn, but we would like them to live in the city of Auburn because they're potentially voting on tax benefits in the city of Auburn. But for sure, again, if people are interested in being on boards, please reach out. So they can. There's a web page online that lists all the board positions. We try to keep it updated when the terms expire, and they can reach out through there too.
Now, can it be voted on individually, or is it going to be voted on as every single person all together?
All together, right?
Yep. Okay,
You
thank
all
you.
set? Okay. Any other questions? All right, please call the roll.
Counselor Diego?
No?
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Cuddy?
Yes.
Counselor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye.
Carried.
Just a reminder, the CDBG public hearing is open if anybody would like to speak on that topic in particular. All right, at this time, I would like to welcome up Ms. Renee Jensen, Ms. Tiffany Beebe from our planning department to present this year's annual action plan. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to present tonight. I'm Renee Jensen. I'm Program Manager with the Office of Planning and Economic Development. With me tonight is Tiffany Beebe, Senior Planner. We'll both be presenting on the Community Development Block Grant, but I also want to mention that our Director, Stephen Selvik, is here as well. Well, the Community Development Block Grant is a federally funded program which is administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It provides communities like ours with resources to address local needs and improve the quality of life. Through this funding, the city is able to invest in neighborhood improvements, support housing programs, assist community service organizations, and upgrade public facilities and infrastructure, which primarily benefit low to moderate income persons and households. In this presentation tonight, we will highlight the upcoming 2026-2027 CDBG Annual Action Plan and how these funds will be allocated for the upcoming program year. And this will include the types of projects we will be supporting. So just a little bit of background, the city of Auburn is an entitlement community, which is designated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which means the city receives CDBG funding directly from HUD each year, rather than us going and competitively applying to New York State for funding. This designation allows Auburn to plan and administer our own community development programs locally. The annual action plan serves as the city's yearly implementation plan, in which we identify priority needs, proposed projects, and funding allocations that align with the goals established in the city's 2025 to 2029 consolidated plan, which we were in front of City Council for last year. This annual action plan is the second annual action plan of that consolidated plan. An important component of the annual action plan is public participation. and the city gathers input from residents, community organizations, and service providers to ensure funding decisions reflect community needs and priorities. Once finalized and approved by City Council, this plan is submitted to the U.S. Department of HUD and Urban Development, which allows the city to access our entitlement funding. All projects funded through CDBG must meet at least one of HUD's 3 national objectives, which are listed here on the screen. The first objective is benefiting low to moderate income persons. For our community, the majority of CDBG funded programs and projects fall under this category. The second objective is the prevention or elimination of slums or blight, which allows us to address deteriorated conditions, remove unsafe structures through demolition, and improve public infrastructure in targeted areas. The third objective is meeting an urgent community development need, which applies when a serious or immediate threat to public health or safety exists. In addition to meeting HUD's national objectives, projects funded in the annual action plan must also support broader program goals, which are also listed on the screen. This includes providing decent housing, creating a suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities for our residents. So as mentioned, one of the national objectives is benefiting low to moderate income persons. And through our funding, we can do this in 2 different ways. One way is through direct benefit, and the other is through area-wide benefit. Direct benefit activities are programs or services where assistance is provided directly to an eligible person or households. These programs typically include housing rehabilitation, home repair programs, down payment assistance, but they also include public service programs funded with CDBG, and that may include, which we'll touch on later, youth programs, senior services, homelessness assistance, employment support services. These are all programs that individuals must meet income requirements. So the chart on the screen here is the most current income guidelines provided by HUD. Those who qualify would fall in the 80% category or lower. So you can see here a family of 4, in order to qualify for direct benefit, would need to make less than $70,800 annually. And these are specific to the city of Auburn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Just a quick question, kind of leading back to what Mr. Udall was saying a little while ago. When you talk about those income levels and direct payment, is something like that tax exemption for people obviously making a lot less money? Are they eligible for that?
For a tax exemption?
Yeah, like the program they were speaking of, tax exemption for low income, going on the income there. Is that something that they could be eligible for?
So this would be just for our eligible programs. So that meaning, you know, a home repair assistance program or a program that we fund through human service agencies. So it wouldn't.
So not a tax exemption?
Right, no.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
So those senior and disabled exemptions are available and have been for several years. So people can apply for those. This program is separate from that.
Yeah.
But people that are of similar incomes could be eligible for both.
So in addition to funding activities that directly benefit individuals or households, CDBG funds can be used on an area-wide basis to improve eligible neighborhoods. Area-wide activities are designed to benefit residents within a specific geographic area in the city of Auburn, where at least 51% of residents are of low to moderate income, as defined by HUD. These projects typically include public infrastructure projects, so neighborhood improvements such as streets, sidewalk upgrades, park improvements, water and sewer infrastructure, accessibility improvements. The map above is the current map that we use for area-wide basis. This is based on 2016 to 2020 American Community Survey data. That is what HUD has us use. The eligible areas are highlighted in blue, and they are census block groups. You'll be able to see the different census block groups as well as the low to moderate income percentage of them. So we're able to do work within any of the blue areas. Community input is such a critical part of the city's community development block grant program, especially the development of the annual action plan and the 5-year consolidated plan. Federal regulations require communities to actively seek public participation, but I also think we really enjoy going out and getting that public participation. It's one of our favorite things. And so each year we engage with residents, community organizations, housing providers, and service agencies to gather feedback for the development of this plan. Public input opportunities include public hearings, one of which is tonight, community meetings, stakeholder consultations, and a public comment period, which we are currently in. It opened January 12th and it runs until February 11th. Any public comments, whether it's through a public hearing or during the public comment period, are part of the annual action plan. In fact, all of meeting minutes and phone calls that we receive for the development of the annual action plan are within the appendix of the plan that is in front of you tonight. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the plan, pull out some specific portions of it and talk about it. So the first one is I'm going to really focus on budget and where we're allocating funding. So in AP 15, which is page 18 of the annual action plan, this outlines the financial resources expected to be available to support our community development activities during the upcoming program year. This section identifies the city's anticipated CDBG allocation from HUD, and I say anticipated because we have not received an allocation from HUD yet. So our program year starts April 1st, but we generally will not receive an annual or an allocation announcement until late March. So what we do for the development of our budget is we base it on last year's allocation amount. So that's the number that you'll be seeing within this plan. In the appendix, we have a detailed budget that we produce out of our office. So I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and talk about that. I don't want to pull out each program because Tiffany will be discussing that in more detail. But the budget is categorized with housing and neighborhood programming at the top, as you can see. And then we have public service allocations below that, special development projects, and then lastly, planning and administration. The number that we are using for the development of this action plan is $813,922, and that's entitlement funding. You'll also see next to it is prior entitlement funds. These funds are from prior entitlement years, may have been part of an earlier action plan that we are now reprogramming. Then we have anticipated revolving loan fund for 2026. And available revolving loan funds that is currently available to us. If HUD HUD's announcement or allocation to us is an increase or decrease. We did write within the action plan that this will impact the housing and neighborhood budget lines. However, if the increase is increase or decrease is greater than 20%, a public comment period will be opened, and City Council will be asked to approve the changes. So we'll be back in front of you if it's a greater than 20% increase or decrease. And this is part of our citizen participation plan, which is an approved document, so we have to follow that. I mentioned prior year entitlement funds as well as revolving loan funds. So within this action plan, there are prior year entitlement funds, which you can see here. This is also found in the appendix of the document. And they may occur when projects either come in under budget, experience delays, or may not go as planned. And when this happens, the funding can be reallocated to other eligible projects or programs, which can move forward for our community. However, we do need to go through what's called an amendment process. So that is what is in front of you right now. You can see we do have some prior entitlement funding from 2019 through 2024. And we are reprogramming that to a neighborhood revitalization project. We also have some small business revolving loan funding that we will be reprogramming to be spent in this program year. So now I'm going to hand it over to Tiffany, who is going to talk a little more about the projects that we'll be funding.
The project section begins on page 25 of the draft annual action plan and includes sidewalk improvements, public services, residential rehab, foreclosure operation and repair, a first-time homebuyer program, the distressed property program, public facilities, special development, economic development, and administration. The project summary section details how the City of Auburn plans to spend the available CDBG funding in the upcoming year. The project summary begins on page 27 and includes information such as the location, goals supported, needs addressed, funding amount, description, and the estimated number and type of households that will benefit from the project. During the next few slides, I will share about the projects for the upcoming year. As Renee mentioned earlier, the CDBG program is truly a community-driven grant. During the public meetings this year, sidewalks and curbing were a trending topic being brought up at multiple meetings and is funded at $388,782. This includes funding for 2 projects, as well as reimbursement for engineering staff time spent developing bids and conducting construction inspections. There was great community support for a sidewalk replacement project on Anna and Frederick Streets. The engineering department also reviewed the sidewalk condition on these streets and agreed that the area will benefit from a sidewalk replacement project. This also complements previous investment in this neighborhood as it connects to previous sidewalk improvement projects and to Bradford Street Park. Another area of great concern to the community is the lack of curbing on Curtis Place. Curtis Place is located just off of North Street, 1 block from the hospital, and is heavily utilized for parking for people accessing the hospital. Curbing will define driveway access and the city right-of-way and will act as a deterrent for parking in the grass right-of-way and blocking resident driveways. Public services are vital for City of Auburn residents. This topic is often spoke about the most often at public meetings, but is capped by HUD at 15% of the allocation. This allows $120,000 to be spent on public services to residents in the City of Auburn. The projects and funding amounts in this section are determined through a competitive request for proposals process. All submitted proposals are evaluated by a committee comprised of community members who then score each proposal and make funding recommendations. The funded agencies and projects this year include the Auburn YMCA for Child Care Scholarships, Aurora of CNY for Senior Assistive Devices, Boyle Senior Center for Senior Programming, Cayuga Counseling for Youth Counseling, a Mental Health Drop-In Center for Homeless Persons to Connect to Services, CAP for Food Security, Rescue Mission for Youth Programming, BTW, the Booker T. Washington Center for their Youth Summer Camp, Legal Aid Services for Victims of Domestic Violence, Chapel House for Homeless Services, the Gavra Center for Child Care Services, Catholic Charities for Household Emergency Assistance, and BOCES for Career Training and Workforce Development.
Mayor?
Oh, yes,
may I
please
ask
go
a
ahead.
Question.
Yes.
Ms. Beebe, so every once in a while, we may get a notice that the city, could help a certain not-for-profit organization. What's the outreach, and how do we determine the, the money allocated to these public services? And, I say this because sometimes there may be something either in the paper that might state that the city hasn't approached them. How aggressive are we to let people know about these funds? And I want to be clear that, how much we do reach out to let non-for-profits and organizations know that this money is available. Can you speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. So Renee and I both participate in community meetings. One is the community network meeting. We announced this through Catalyst Cayuga, which coordinates human service agencies within the county. This is posted online on the city's website. This goes out to several email listservs. It's announced at the Homeless Task Force. And we periodically do get calls throughout the year from human service agencies wondering what funding might be available through the city. And when we get those calls, we always take the time to meet with that agency, a representative, to discuss what the requirements of the CDBG program are and when the next upcoming cycle for funding is.
Thank you.
The Home Repair Assistance Program is available citywide to income-eligible homeowners and is designed to address substandard living conditions in owner-occupied homes. This can include correcting code violations, insulation and weatherproofing, structural concerns, carpentry, and painting. The program is set up as a combination deferred loan and repayable loan. So 75% of the project cost is a deferred loan that is forgiven after a set number of years. 25% of the project cost is repayable at 0% interest over a set number of years. The money that comes in then goes back out to people for home repair projects. The budget anticipates assisting 10 homeowners with projects up to $25,000 and also includes administration of the program, which includes marketing, application intake and review, initial home inspection, bid specifications, construction inspections, and preparation of security instruments.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are landlords privy to applying for this? If I'm a private landlord and I rent and I'm considered the owner, Could I use my tenant's income as a qualifier to
So,
apply for this?
We do not currently have the program set up for income properties for landlords. We do have it set up for owner-occupied multi-units, so like a duplex. Technically, it could be eligible for landlords. We've done that in the past. We honestly did not have much participation in the program at that time. That is why we have been pursuing other options, such as the vacant rental program. Currently, we do have a extensive waiting list for that program. We can't wait to get it up and going. We've submitted contract documents to New York State, have been selecting a consultant to assist us with that program, and as soon as we get an executed contract back, we'll be working on getting it out the door.
I asked that question not because personally I'm more interested in a homeowner having access to this money, not necessarily a multi-owner landlord that has dozens of properties that might be using the income of their actual tenant to have access to $25,000. I think that there are folk in this community that could benefit, that fall under that income guideline, that could benefit from this program, that, you know, might need some type of work done. So that's the reason why I'm asking. It's more in advocacy of that group of folk and not a conglomerate.
Yes,
Okay.
that's how it's currently set up.
Okay.
The foreclosure operation and repair is a new initiative and is designed to stabilize housing in neighborhoods. The efforts will be focused on securing, maintaining, and managing tax foreclosed properties, focused on Census Tract 421.
Tiffany, can you just describe what neighborhood that is, 421, the streets, some of the streets in that neighborhood?
421 is kind of located on the west side of the city and in the middle. So that would include Orchard Street, Barber Street, West Street, Venice, part of State Street.
Thank you.
AHA Development Corporation and the City of Auburn applied in partnership to the New York State Move-In New York program to develop 10 cross-mod homes on vacant lots in the City of Auburn. The financial assistance to eligible first-time homebuyers is to assist with principal reduction, closing cost, or down payment assistance. This is only for the New York State Move-In New York program.
I have a question. To apply for this, I know it says income eligible. Is that also subject to an applicant's, their credit score?
We are not going to be looking at their credit score for eligibility, but if you're not ready to buy a home, then you're not going to be able to access the funding.
So people will be getting mortgages through banks.
Correct.
So they will be qualifying them, and then they can apply for some of this to get them over the hump for the closing costs. and
One initiative that is not using CDBG funding, but that we are working towards implementing in the city with partners is homebuyer education classes. So if all goes as planned, we hope to kick that off in later spring. The distressed property program is designed to stabilize neighborhoods by removing blighted properties. It is estimated that 2 blighted structures will be removed with this program.
Do you know which properties? And can you tell me roughly where 416 is?
We are looking at a property on Bradford Street right now that is condemned. That this tax foreclosed property, I think the number is 32, I believe.
Is it a duplex?
I know it's got a big hole in the wall, right? Is that what I'm remembering? We have, every month, we have a property update meeting where we pull multiple departments around the table and talk through our foreclosures and identify which properties are good to list, which ones are good to sell, which ones need demolition. So, we've used ARPA funding, and planning's been really good about trying to assist with CDBG where they can in eligible census tracts. So Bradford was one of the houses that we identified. We did a demolition at 15 Bradford within the last couple of years, and 22, I think, Bradford, we also did a demolition, I think, or we're looking to do a demolition. So we're really trying to clean up some of these areas. We've had great feedback from the neighbors there, really trying to make a difference there. Plus our playground.
Yes.
It's right there. So.
The second property has not been identified yet. There is hope to focus on the West Street, Barber Street, Venice Street area and demolish a property there. We really want to have plans in place to have something new built there before we do that demolition.
Thank you.
Public facilities will focus on park improvement projects. The pavilion for Wall Street Park will be installed in the 2026 program year due to the timing of manufacturing. It's currently being manufactured right now, but won't arrive and be able to be installed until after the start of this new program year. The focus of this program year will be Cottage Place Park. That's located over on the West Street, Barber Street neighborhood area. And to kick things off, we will host a community meeting at the park. We found those to be very successful in the past. We really enjoy hosting them. It really connects us to the neighbors. And we'll ask them for what the community needs and ideas are. A design and construction documents will then take place with the plan for construction to begin in the next upcoming program year. This also aligns with our planning initiatives to focus in that neighborhood for housing as well. Special development is a revolving loan fund. It's designed to respond to priority housing and homeless projects. This funding source is actually being used to fund the first-time homebuyer assistance. This is the remaining amount. And CDBG also funds administration. So this is comprised of the coordination of human service agencies, the homeless task force, and it includes reimbursement of staff salaries for time spent administering this grant. As you can see, the CDBG program continues to have a tremendous impact in our community and has been able to address critical needs. Happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
Council, have any questions? Thank you. Appreciate the effort that goes into this every year. In my opinion and in my experience, one of the most successful government programs in operation. Staff and the entire city should be proud of what's been accomplished through this program, so thank you. Last call for public hearing on the 2026-2027 CDBG action plan. We'll close the public hearing at this time. Other business from the council. Councilor Diego.
I just wanted to, I'm not sure, obviously there's nobody here from engineering, something I just caught on to a few minutes before the meeting started. Does anybody have an update? Something I was told a couple hours ago was that Burgess Street project's now on hold till the spring. The only reason I ask is we had authorized, the council had authorized the extra money. They said they were going to work 6 days a week, 12-hour days because the weather put them behind. Obviously, my take on it was the weather wasn't going to get any better, so that's why I voted no. But now I was told that they're not even going to do the project till the spring and they pulled out.
I'll get an update on that, Counselor. I don't know the exact details on that. I'll get that to you by email tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything else? Do you have a request for executive session, Ms. Haynes?
Yes, Mayor, I do. I have one item related to the sale or lease of real property 4 matters related to the financial history of a particular corporation, and 1 matter related to collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law.
Very good. We have a sponsor for executive session, Councilor Clarko, second by Councilor Cuddy. Please call the roll.
Executive session is 6:10 PM. Counselor Diego?
Yes.
Counselor Overstreet Wilson?
Yes.
Counselor Cuddy?
Yes.
Counselor Clarko?
Aye.
Mayor Genatino?
Aye. We'll be in recess for executive session.